There lurks inside all of us a small part of our soul that we want to keep buried, safe where no one can find it. For me, this secret is that I truly believe in Batman Forever. From the moment we watched our Caped Crusader gearing up to the final explosion as he saved the woman he loves and the man who became his partner, Batman Forever is a cartoonish thrill ride significantly different from everything that would come before and after it. Batman Forever takes us on a fantastic journey into the dark world of Gotham, setting the tone for the entire movie within the first few words, and then, a short coin flip later, and we're faced Two-Face with Harvey Dent. Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face is a sinister dark monster, a cruel archon of fate, bleeding a stark contrast into the film just minutes in. Batman arrives at the scene of the crime, and within a few lines of dialogue, it's quickly revealed who Dr. Meridian is, that Batman is aware of her work in psychiatry, and that he's a reader of it, both establishing her excellence in the field and showing the audience that Val Kilmer's Batman is someone with a keen intellect, as he corrects her when she refers to bats as rodents, which is a nice and humorous touch. The universe of Batman Forever is different to any other film that I've ever seen. It keeps the darkest of things wrapped up in a cartoonish comedy, the darkness a precursor to the films that would eventually follow, and linking them beautifully to the more comedic Batman of the past, a Batman I'd both grown up with and loved for a very long time. The cartoon comedy is beautifully contrasted by the very real threats that Batman has to face. After Two-Face inevitably escapes from Batman, we're introduced to Edward Nygma, expertly played by Jim Carrey. Ed is a grade-A weirdo with a questionable social intelligence and very clearly a mad scientist. Initially, Bruce Wayne is very open to the idea of working and collaborating with him. However, Ed pushes a little bit too hard and loses him with the help of a little bit of a distraction from Wayne's alternative lifestyle coming into play. He could do with listening a little bit to Dan Locke in order to help him close those deals, but he vows to make Wayne understand the things he's created. Wayne, on the other hand, is back to the murky underworld of Gotham and directly into a trap. This trap is more dangerous, deadly and terrifying than anything Batman has faced so far. He's cornered by Dr. Meridian and has a very real fear that she's trying to get under his cape. The comedy is played so straight that it's beautiful to watch. There's much more to the scene on the rooftop than I really think people give it credit for. Batman knows of Dr. Meridian, he understands and appreciates her work, and talks her down. There's almost a sadness about the way he avoids her, almost like if he was anyone else, it would be a heartbeat decision. Thankfully, he's saved in the nick of time. We return to our rejected friend Ed. Caught in the act of continuing his work on the mind control project, he knocks out his supervisor and forces him to see his creation, turning him into a human guinea pig for his experiments. As Ed soaks up his supervisor's mind, draining his intellect and increasing his own at the same time. Whilst the dancing is childish and comical, it's also incredibly creepy. His supervisor realises the danger his experiments pose to innocent people and tries to fire him. Ed rejects this and murders him by launching him out of the window. But this does make sense. His personality might appear wacky and weird, but Ed's inability to handle rejection justifies his actions completely in his mind. Mere hours later, talking about the loss of his supervisor, he's in pieces, whilst expressing his emotion, then businesslike when he brings up a letter he's forged, then back to tears afterwards. The contrast is hilarious if incredibly sick, punctuated by perfect musical scoring. Later, after talking about the apparent suicide with the Commissioner, Bruce Wayne goes on to show his human side by ensuring the family get full benefits regardless of suicide not being covered by the company policies. I think this is a beautiful and very human touch, which is easily glossed over as it's such a throwaway line which sits in the background to Wayne getting his first riddle and the introduction of Ed Nygma's Riddler persona, which for Jim Carrey is beautifully low-key, which is completely necessary for the evolution of his character later. Next, we're back into the world of Dr. Meridian. This time Bruce Wayne goes to visit her as himself, only to hear that something terrible is going on in her office, or so he thinks. Busting through the door, he finds the good doctor working out. It's a beautiful introduction. Bruce has two reasons for visiting. One, he's interested in Dr. Meridian's help, and secondly, there's part of him that's interested in Dr. Meridian herself, and they play a slightly dangerous game together. Now, it's very possible at this point, subconsciously, that Dr. Meridian has her suspicions about Bruce. When he picks up the doll in her room, very similar to Two-Face in its design, she comments on him looking sad. A childhood taken away. Her role as a psychiatrist has been written expertly, and it's very clear to me as a student of psychology that this was incredibly important to the writer. Bruce reveals his true intentions. He asks her on a date, to the circus, where we meet the Flying Graysons, and he invites her to yet another date. but she turns him down. Because she has feelings for Batman. Oh, if only she knew. Bruce slips up slightly, but recovers. As usual, it's just fun and games and easily laughed off. As with everything in the film though, the subtleties are there. Ed is watching, stalking Bruce and his new companion, and for all the wonderful circus acts, disaster is there to follow. Batman Forever delivers this beautifully, time and time again, and suddenly Two-Face and his goons are on the show, ready to dish out some spectacle, bringing a bomb along to make it an extra special blast. Ed is over the moon. Two-Face is like a hero going up against Batman, in the same way Edward Nygma is going up against Bruce Wayne. And yet Bruce is there, in danger because of Dent's need for chaos and mayhem. It's perfect. Bruce decides to fight the villains and slips away to engage them. The Graysons decide to take matters into their own hands and help using their acrobatic skills to assist in the fight against Two-Face, and Dick manages to get the bomb out in time, saving everyone, only to return to find his family have paid the ultimate price. Bruce decides to take him in, but Dick Grayson isn't a charity case. He's got a mission in life, take down Two-Face, and he's not got time to sit back and let some millionaire look after him. Bruce tries to give him some good advice, but Dick Grayson is brash, young and impulsive. It takes a subtle reality check to bring his blood down. As an audience, we have to understand something here. Dick is a human being. He's lost his family and he's not going to let things go immediately. He's lashing out a bit at Bruce. But when Bruce offers to help fill up his bike as he's running on empty, they begin to bond over their love of bikes. Bruce realises something. He realises that Dick's a self-made person and has a sense of honour and respect. It's just burned under the raw emotion he's experiencing following the loss of his family, so he plants a seed with him, an almost subconscious offer that things wouldn't be all one way, that it doesn't have to be charity, that it's something that Grayson could work for, giving him a reason, a purpose in life. The thing is, Bruce has his own demons. He understands what it's like to lose his family at a much younger age. The nightmares of his past are cold, dark, and unsettling. He has an understanding of what Dick is going through, and indirectly, it is his fault for existing as Batman. Alfred punctuates it. This is what I like about Val Kilmer's Batman. He's a little awkward at times, a little funny, a little goofy. He does make some strange mistakes, but he's also highly intelligent and realises that a lot of what must be going on within Two-Face is ultimately down to his own existence. It's a heavy burden for him to bear. Now, Alfred is also a very interesting character in this film, considering his low amount of screen time. He shows a deep, thoughtful side, and his actions are those of someone who is wise and understands not only social politics, but also human emotions as well. From his subtle hint about throwing away the food prepared for Dick, to refusing to throw away his uniform, and subtly suggesting that he should put it aside for a while, his intelligence, humanity, and empathy is fantastically brought to the surface by Michael Gough. When we return to good old Ed, he's working on names. From the Puzzler to Captain Kill, he definitely needs some work, but after what must have taken him hours of work, he finally gets it. A little while later, Two-Face has just had dinner prepared by the two women in his life who truly understand him when Ed makes his entrance. An explosion of flair and brilliance is met with the righteous fury of Two-Face, but Ed's got a plan to go with his new persona, the Riddler, a plan to wear down their mutual enemy, of course with his usual wackiness thrown in, but Two-Face is a man of action and punctuates it with a shot. Tommy and Jim work exceptionally well together. The Riddler sells them the ultimate sale. Who is Batman? Thankfully, the coin is on the Riddler's side this time, extending the movie by an hour. We're then introduced to Dick Grayson's extensive skill set with his showing Alfred laundry no jutsu, a short scene which really didn't need to exist but is absolutely beautiful to break up Two-Face and the Riddler wreaking havoc on Gotham. One short montage later, Ed Nygma's box has become one of the most powerful forces in Gotham. His criminal counterpart has worked extensively with Two-Face for a while and they're starting to see eye to eye. Meanwhile, Dick Grayson has discovered Bruce Wayne's true secret, that he is Batman. I'm sorry in advance to anyone watching this that didn't already know. Anyway, Bruce delves deeply into his past with Dr. Meridian. He's starting to break through his own psyche. He trusts her, but begins to realise that she's developing an obsession with Batman. He's afraid of her, but at the same time he's drawn to her. It's a very real feeling relationship issue, and for Bruce, who's not really good with this kind of emotion, it's troublesome. Bruce wants her, but Batman cannot be with her. In many ways, he is his own Two-Face. This is one of the reasons why they work so well as opposites on the coin of good and evil. Dick pinches the Batmobile and goes cruising around, but when confronted with darkness he tries to do the right thing. Putting his acrobatic skills to the test, he decimates a local witch doctor and his crew, and saves the girl and gets into trouble only to be rescued by Batman. Then it all comes out. He lashes out at Batman, but very quickly realises that it's not actually his fault. This is where it comes down to good and evil, what it actually means. Back at the Batcave, Grayson talks about fighting crime, his urge to kill Two-Face, and he is very open with Wayne, but Wayne brings out the reality. He explains about revenge, the power of the seed of evil and how it grows and festers and destroys the people it cannibalizes. Dick challenges him. "You're not like me, you don't understand." But Batman explains, "We're the same, we've had the same experiences, we've been through the same things." Grayson asks Wayne to train him, but Wayne is hesitant to create a potential monster. His pragmatism is well warranted with his own existence and the damage that it's caused. This level of understanding is rarely afforded to most films, and it's extremely powerful. We then see a fantastic power play between Edward and Bruce. Edward has lost his fangirl attitude and it's been replaced by raw competition. Everything Bruce was, he used to admire, and now everything he is falls flat and it's a disappointment. Jim Carrey does an excellent job of almost punishing himself for the way he used to see Bruce. It speaks to him like a child. Confidence has turned him into a monster, but he still retains his jealousy. One could say he was almost green with envy. Wayne decides to try out Ed's invention, but all of a sudden, Two-Face is there to crash the party. But so is Batman. Everything is now coming to an excellent conclusion because the story is so well woven. The Riddler has been inconvenienced by Two-Face, once another person he admires, now an equal, if that. Dick makes the choice to help Batman despite being rejected by him in terms of partnership. Alfred already has his uniform there. Batman and Dr. Meridian kiss, their relationship built up over the span of the movie. And the ensuing chaos is amazing to watch, resulting in Batman being buried under rubble and being rescued by Dick Grayson. Bruce Wayne is afraid of Grayson becoming his partner as Batman for so many reasons. This is a guy who's just a kid. He's on a rush of vengeance and a potential danger to himself and others. He's afraid of Grayson becoming like him, a man incapable of love or happiness, losing his life. Alfred brings the wisdom to the table. He tells Bruce that he needs to guide Grayson, not reject him. Rejection will only lead to more suffering. There is so much going on. But if you think Batman Forever is just a silly cartoon movie, think again. Following Alfred's guidance, Bruce dons the Batgear and visits Dr. Meridian, who confesses that she has feelings for someone else. No, not Enigma, Bruce Wayne! Batman turns and gives us a wonderful smile, possibly the best moment in the entire movie. She loves the man, not the myth, not the legend. She's grown up. Emotionally troubled, Bruce decides to give up being Batman, but it's not going to be easy because the Riddler has unlocked the secrets within his mind and has a very heavy suspicion that he is the Batman. Grayson challenges Wayne about giving up on being a hero, but Wayne explains his reality to Dick. He explains that he's met a woman and she's real nice, and that maybe it's not such a good idea for Dick to throw away his life to become a broken husk like Batman. Yes, he does the right thing, but he loses the entire life in the process. It's a big deal when you think about it. Dick Grayson takes his uniform and leaves. But the party's just getting started for Wayne as he has some surprise visitors lurking just around the corner. Bruce wanders through the hell of his memories as he tries to talk to Dr. Meridian about his reality. Then it all kicks off. Two-Face and the Riddler are there, creating chaos. From the get-go, their rage is an explosive success. From blowing up the Batmobile to whacking Wayne and stealing the girl, they masterfully make off with Meridian and set up a trap. Before we know it, Batman is back, bat buns and all, and his sidekick is back as well. Dick has returned to the fold and a partnership is born. Batman and Robin take to the sea and sky and begin their assault. Robin's duel with Two-Face is hard and vicious. He pulverizes Harvey and drives him to the brink of oblivion, but chooses to save him rather than kill him, which turns out to be an incredibly bad idea. It just goes to show how morality can be easily exploited by evil. Batman ends up being presented with a terrible choice. Will he save the woman he loves, or the boy Wonder, his new apprentice? Batman realises it's a trick and a trap, and goes on the offensive, saving both Robin and the Good Doctor. Harvey Dent is destroyed by the weakness Dr. Meridian and Batman had established earlier on in the film, and Edward Nygma is reduced to a screaming insanity. Despite the raw campness, the cartoonish appeal and wackiness, the film is deep, beautifully written, funny, sad, moving and beautiful. It's an underappreciated film, beautifully scored, acted and directed, and written with a brilliant understanding of character and human emotion. It's Batman Forever. Love it or hate it, I still believe it's a great film.
Channel Pup has been growing more than I could ever have anticipated over this very short space of time, and I'm absolutely honoured to see so many viewers participating in discussions and really enjoying my little projects here. But it's not without its obstacles. I'm currently a student studying film and television, and if I want to afford the general costs that come with living, unfortunately YouTube revenue just can't always cut that cheese. I recently moved in with my girlfriend's family, but this is not a permanent thing, it's just for the summer. And last year I've done the whole act of balancing YouTube, balancing a job, and balancing university, and trust me, the content suffers every single time. So to support this channel to maintain the same quality of content and upload schedule, and to just keep making the stuff you guys really seem to be enjoying, I really do urge you to check out my Patreon link in the description below. And in return, you can get early access previews to the special Channel Pup events such as Marvelous Tales of Spider-Man Episode 2, as well as my upcoming Patreon exclusive playlist, Pup's Project Room, which is all unlockable with a pledge of just $1 or more. Now, the world's a tricky place. Not everybody is made of money, and that's fine. Just please be here for my videos. Please don't stop coming back to join me on these discussions, because it means so much to me, guys, really. Well, I guess I best be hitting the old dusty trail. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I've been Channel Pup, and I'll think of a better catchphrase next time. Now please leave me alone!